we're in action. So I'm going to just introduce the whole overview of the webinar. We're going to actually incorporate a live video demo. That's what Zahra is here for. She's going to be operating the camera later on. But let's just have a little overview of the webinar first of all. Okay, so there's a picture of me and Dinah for you. You'll see us on video very soon. Okay, so let's find out something about you. Shakura, would you like to just launch a couple of polls? Let's find out if this is their first webinar. The people who have...
Here we go. I'm launching now.
Okay. So if you'd just like to check, let us know if this is your first webinar. Everyone's very quick to vote today. We've got 95% voted. So let's have a look. Okay, quite a lot of you have been on a webinar before. That's terrific. But there's nearly 40% of you. It's your first webinar. So welcome. We'll try and make it a good experience for you. Okay, so this webinar is based on our current project, which is an video-based online course treating the back. So just in case any of you who are already enrolled on the course, it'd be nice to know if you've already enrolled on the course. So that's the second poll. So let's see, could we have that, Shakura? That poll? Yeah, just let us know if you've already enrolled. And then we know who we're talking to. Okay, look at this. We've got a quarter of you are already enrolled on the course, so it's great to have you on the webinar. Fantastic. And in that vein, let's have an overview. Okay, so this is where we are at the moment, an introduction to the webinar system and a couple of polls about you. And this is the overview. There's three sections to this webinar. This is the introduction. Then Dinah and I are going to talk about a couple of the theory presentations we've got on the course, one on Western medicine and one on TCM, yeah, Chinese medicine. And then we're going to go over to a live video stream, and we're going to take you through an exercise on working on your own back and see if you can discover something about the energy of your own back using TCM and Qigong style exercises. And then if there's time, which we hope there will be, I'm going to do a short demonstration on Dinah, who's got something on which she wants me to work on with her back. So we'll just show you how the kind of things that you could learn, or you will learn if you're on the course, and you could learn if you join us. Okay. So obviously the course has got prepared videos which we've edited and everything, but this will be a live, completely live, improvised treatment. Okay, cool. So there's three stages. So let's have a look here. Oh yeah, let's find out a little bit more about you, shall we, Shakura? Shall we find out whether they are a Shiatsu practitioner and also where they are? So can you just tell us what category you're in? Okay, right, there we go. Look, we've got quite a few teachers. We've got 13% teachers, so welcome. We've got some other therapists as well, but most of you are Shiatsu practitioners. Great. So the next thing we'll be interested to know is, where are you from? So maybe you could just launch that poll. Oh my goodness, someone's got up at 4:30 a.m. in Australia. I've had lots of people emailing me saying, is it going to be recorded? Which is another thing. Let's make sure. Okay, great. So let's get on with the second stage of the webinar. And what we're going to do is we're going to share, Diana and I are going to talk to you on the webcam. Okay. So if you'd like to sort of sit here, and we're going to have a split screen, so you should be able to see the slides and also see us on the webcam. So let's see if we can make that work. Hey, so we are just getting to a position. There we are. Hey everyone. Hello. Okay, so we're going to go through the slides, and Diana and I are just going to discuss the meaning of the slides. That's it. That's good. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so just press that down button there. Yeah. Okay, there we are. So this is the section Western medicine and back pain. Yeah, that's it. Okay, great. So you should be able to adjust your screen. You should have half of it split with the Dinah and I on the video, and the half of it with the slides. And if you drag it up and down, you can resize it. That's what it should look like. Okay, right. So this is just a few selected slides, isn't it? It's quite a long presentation on the course, but we thought you might be interested in a few facts and a few things about Western medicine. So would you like to just click that? Yeah, you need to click into there and then press the.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We're sorting out the text. So, here we go. Okay. So here's a few selected topics from Module 5, the theory module. We're going to just introduce you to the Western medicine understanding of back pain. Okay. Then classification of Western medicine, how it classifies different types of back pain, and then just some common medical conditions. So just a few slides. Yeah. Okay, look, here's some interesting facts. 90% of adults experience back pain at some point in their lives. So
actually, there are really impressive statistics, aren't there, for percentage of people who suffer back pain, and particularly working adults, and how many days are lost. I've forgotten them, but you can learn them from the webinar. I mean, from the online course.
Yeah.
And if you look around, you'll find they're astonishing, the number of people who, at some point or another, seek medical help for back pain, acute back pain, chronic back pain, both.
Okay, great. Should we just go to the next slide? Okay, right. This is another fascinating thing I thought was really interesting, that there's 98% of back pain has a non-specific, it's not what's called non-specific. There's specific back pain in Western medicine and non-specific, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so specific is if there's an underlying, a serious underlying pathology.
Serious underlying condition. I mean, we'll look in a moment at the common medical conditions that do cause back pain, for example, disc problems.
Yeah.
But in terms of underlying serious pathologies, it's a tiny percentage, really tiny.
Yeah, so there's 3 months is the critical amount of time, isn't it?
Yes, if the pain continues for over 12 weeks despite treatment.
Okay.
So
right.
Then it changes classification in Western medical terms from acute to chronic.
Right, good. Yeah. And there are 3 types of pain. Could you explain what they are? Because I know that comes from your work that you've done, Dinah, on types of pain.
Well, nociceptive pain is just pain where signals are sent to the brain of harm to the body, so from sensory nerves in muscles and tissues. And yeah, the word comes from the same root as noxious. Noxus is Latin for harm.
Okay.
So it's a warning to the body that there is some harm.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, it comes through sensory nerves.
Yeah.
Neurogenic pain is when, as it sounds, it's pain caused by damage to either peripheral or central nerves.
Right.
And most chronic pain, including chronic back pain, is a combination of nociceptive and neurogenic.
All right, so there's nerves and some kind of tissue damage.
Yeah.
Like so would an injury be a nociceptive then?
Yes.
It looks like if you pull the muscle.
Yeah, absolutely. Like then your body is giving you a helpful signal to stop lifting that mountain of lead, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And psychogenic pain is pain that comes from with no physical root, so from psyche, from the mental and emotional field, if you like.
Okay.
Like when you get stressed, or you can feel like your shoulders tightening, that kind of.
Yes, if there's no sign of physical damage.
Right, okay. So that's a massive area for Shiatsu, isn't it? Let's face it, because Shiatsu is so sophisticated, isn't it, in classifying psychogenic pain and also treating the other 3, I would say, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, look, here's some medical conditions. So what we've got the obvious muscular strains, sprains or spasms. That's a common cause of back pain, isn't it?
Yeah, and a strain is a damage, injury to a tendon, sprain to ligaments. Muscle spasm is a result of strain, often. And of course, herniated discs is one of the most common back problems, roots of back pain that we come across. And it's what we tend to call a slipped disc.
Right, yes. And in actual fact, we had model come in from outside of our team that I treated in the later modules.
Excellent.
And I showed how we can use Shiatsu techniques, Kyoto diagnosis, and also the resonant techniques to analyze the meridian distortions around the spine that cause the disc to protrude,
right,
which is the Shiatsu approach. Yeah, and then you've got the disc. Then you've got degenerative disc disease. That's when the disc actually degenerates and starts to
or becomes fixed, as in ankylosing spondylitis, something like that, where the disc itself is become hard and no longer acting as a cushion. We call it a slip disc, but actually it is more correctly called a herniated disc, the previous category, where the bulgy, the squishy central part of the disc prolapses out through the fibrous outer capsule and presses onto a nerve or touches onto a nerve and causes the pain.
Right.
And obviously you get a similar pain with degenerative disc disease as well, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, I've treated all of those. In fact, I've treated all of those with Shiatsu, and it can be very, very effective. I mean, spinal stenosis is one of the harder ones to treat, I found, because it's actually a constriction, isn't it, of the where the nerves run.
A narrowing of the tube down the middle of the spine where the central nervous tissue runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more tricky.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that's a brief view of some of the issues that we worked on, and now. Let's just spend a little bit of time working on the TCM, back pain TCM. Okay, and again we've got a whole thing on that on in the online course, haven't we? And this again comes from one of your international workshops that you've done on pain.
That's right. Yes, and in fact this is a short extract. So the reference to what is suffering, primary and secondary, is actually very similar to our previous category from Western medicine of acute and chronic. Primary suffering, you can say, is close to the experience of the pain. So the immediacy of the sensation of the pain. Yeah. And whereas secondary are the long-term effects and how chronic pain tends to impact on so many different areas of people's lives, causing all sorts of follow-on suffering, if you like. Right. So anxiety and stress around employment or money or all of those kind of things, insomnia, you know, physical problems, emotional and psychological problems that go with beyond the initial injury to a back, for example.
Because that's interesting, actually, because sometimes the primary pain can be quite small, can't it? It can be quite a small problem, actually, but it has massive repercussions. It affects employment, affects their own sense of the self, maybe their relationship, things like that.
Absolutely, and it may impact on their relationship with themselves or with others. There's a whole raft of potential aspects of secondary suffering, as we've referred to it here.
And I think that's one of the things I found when treating with Shiatsu. Shiatsu is very sophisticated like that, because what you can do is you can understand and help the client understand why those secondary layers are built up, how they link to the meridians and things like that, can't you? And you can work through them. And the surprising thing is, once you get through all of those, quite often the actual primary suffering at the beginning, the primary pain, is actually not such a big deal. It's either manageable or even can be treatable in itself, can't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. TCM's got a particular perspective on pain, hasn't it, which we'll have a look at in a minute, about obstruction. And we'll look at the major pathologies and syndromes as we go through. This is an abbreviation, but we'll have a look at a few things. Okay, so that's the primary suffering and the secondary suffering.
Yeah, and actually there, if you hesitate for a moment, obviously if someone comes in with acute back pain, your first aim as a Shiatsu practitioner is to try and relieve that pain.
Yes.
But over time, especially with a chronic back problem, you're also looking, and again, Shiatsu has a fantastic job, a role in this place of providing resources to minimize suffering. So helping, empowering the client, teaching them how to manage their back, showing them Alexander technique, resting position, lower abdominal breathing, looking at their posture. You know, why have they got this chronic neck, shoulder, upper back problem?
Mm-hmm.
etc., and helping them to recognise what's needed to, you know, directing them to a Qigong class or whatever it is. Yeah. Providing resources to minimise
the effect of it. Yeah. Okay, look, now we get down to the real TCM stuff. Because basically there's a saying, isn't there? About
there certainly is, yes. And excuse my pronunciation, but Butong Ze Tong Ze Butong. Where there is free flow, there is no pain.
Right.
If there's no free flow, there's pain. So basically pain is caused by obstruction.
Yes. Yes.
Now, it's worth pointing out that, of course, there is a type of pain that is not obstruction. It's based solely in deficiency.
Yes.
And that is always better for rest.
Yes.
And tends to affect specifically or relate specifically to the kidney and bladder.
Yes. And we're going to do an exercise on that later. We're going to lead you through an exercise on that.
But back pain generally is a combination of some degree of deficiency in the kidney and bladder and some element of obstruction causing pain, lack of free flow.
Right.
Obstruction of qi, obstruction of blood, which is more severe, more fixed, more strong pain. And it's often compounded with one of the external pernicious influences, particularly cold, sometimes damp, and they can be blown in by wind.
Right. They're the external factors, like if you get in a cold draft or in a damp environment and things like that, aren't they?
Yes, and so the early morning runner who works up a sweat, takes off their clothes, the pores are open, but it's actually still very chilly in the morning, and the cold can penetrate in. If say it's a breezy day, the cold can penetrate in. The labourer working outside with the trousers hanging down and the shirt riding up and the lower back exposed to the elements, he's overstraining and again potentially open to invasion by cold, by wind, and even by damp, say working out in the rain or sleeping on damp walls, I think is one of the classics in Chinese medicine, is described as a potential cause.
Yeah.
So sleeping in a damp environment.
Here's something we don't get too much of in England, unless the weather's very hot, and that's heat, isn't it? Heat, invasion of heat.
Yeah.
Get one day.
Yeah.
It's not that common.
No. Okay, let's see what we've got next. I mean, key stagnation and blood stagnation can come more from internal causes, can't it? Emotional causes as well.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, obviously we tend to relate any kind of stagnation with the liver.
Yes.
Because the liver is in charge of the free flow of qi.
Yes. Okay. So here we are, and here are in fact a list, like we were saying, a list of the TCM syndromes. So.
Yeah, the most common ones.
The most common ones. I mean, the interesting thing from a Shiatsu point of view, and it was very interesting when we did the research for this, wasn't it? We had a lot of discussions about this, difference between working holographically using more advanced Shiatsu techniques, where we can link all of the meridians to any part of the back.
Yeah.
And that's a central part of the online course. In fact, we spend 3 modules just exploring different ways of working every meridian with every part of the back. Yeah. Because TCM is a bit narrow, really, isn't it? It tends to be mainly kidney and bladder deficiency with back pain.
Or, yes, an element of liver to do with the stagnation, lack of free flow.
Yes.
And we did find some more interesting, or more obscure, if you like, TCM references to upper back pain associated with lung and heart issues.
Yes.
So, largely of an emotional genesis.
Yes.
So, but on the whole, these are the most common patterns.
Because certainly in my experience, I mean, you'd often get that. You often get upper back or mid-thoracic pain related to the heart meridian, the heart protector meridian.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very common thing, isn't it?
And liver key stagnation, which is we may come on to later, often reflects around the lower thoracic, sort of the mid-back.
Yeah.
And obviously that often comes from emotional causes.
Yes, exactly.
The most common cause of liver key stagnation is held emotion.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Cool, great.
Let's have you in the mat.
Okay, so
we're going to do an exercise.
We're going to do an exercise, and what we're going to do is we're going to discover, we're going to explore and see whether our backs are more deficient or more obstructed. It's based on TCM, all right? So what I thought we'd do is I'll talk you through them, and everyone at home can try it at home, and we can see if we can figure out what's going on.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with standing up.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So if everyone at home, if you'd just like to stand up, okay? And what I'd like you to do first of all, Diana, is just close your eyes. Okay. So everyone at home, if you want to close your eyes as well, okay? And what we're going to do is tune into our own back. So just close your eyes, tune into your own back, and just notice if there's any feeling of discomfort or any feeling of weakness or obstruction. Generally feel the whole of your back. Okay, tune into it. And we're going to do 2 sets of exercise based on TCM. We're going to first of all tonify the kidney and bladder channels. Okay, and then we're going to do some stretches and some movements to try and move the liver sheath. And then if you do try this at home, you should be able to tell whether your back is more on the deficient side or more on the obstructed side, because you're going to like some of the exercises more than the others. Okay, or maybe you like them half and half, in which case it'll be a mixed pattern. Okay, all right. So just close your eyes. We're going to start off by trying to get as much kidney energy we can into the lower back and the hara. So if you just place your hands over the dantian, okay, and we're going to first of all open up kidney 1. So at home, if you'd like to just stand, open up kidney 1, feel the connection with the earth. Kidney 1 is a very important earthing point for the whole body, for the yin of the body, but it also supports the kidney yin. So you have this feeling of the energy going up into the lower back. So it's very much an internal exercise at the moment. Open up, relax the knees, let the chi flow up through the legs. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to stimulate the CV4 and CV6 area, which directly relates to the kidney energy, which reflects into the lower back. So again, if you just close your eyes, relax your shoulders, try and get as much chi into your hands as you can, and then just using very small circular movements like this. Okay, so I'm doing this kind of thing, moving my hands like that around CV4 and CV6. Okay, that's it. And now what we're doing now is keep your shoulders and your arms as relaxed as you can, and see if you can feel the energy going through through the lower hara into the lower back. Okay, can you feel that? What's going in there? Yeah. Now, once you've done that, and you've got it just starting to go into the lower back, we can now stimulate the kidney energy directly by loosely relaxing the fist like that, and then working around like that. That's it. Yeah. Just very light pressure though. Yeah, that's it. Just light, nice and relaxed, nice and light pressure. And what you're doing there is you're stimulating bladder 23, which is the kidney viewpoint. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay, and what should happen is that heat should start to go through and meet the heat that you've generated from the front. All right? Yes?
Yeah, great.
Okay, so if everyone can do that at home as well, see if you can just get that feeling of the heat going through into the dantian. Okay, right, so now we're going to just check, yeah, can you feel that connection? If you put your hand on the front around CV4 and CV6, and then your other hand there around the lower back area, the kidney area of the back, and then if you tune into that feeling, okay, that's a feeling of the kidney keeping tonified, and that should support the lower back, and you should get the feeling of the energy all the way up the back. Okay? All right? So now, if we want to add some other points in, we can stretch up, just stretching up like this, stretching up, opening up the back, lifting the head up. Okay, and then if we come down, slowly down, like this, that's right. And then we can hold kidney 3. You know that is just behind the ankle, half midway between the middle of the ankle and the Achilles tendon. Yeah? And because that's the source point of the kidney meridians. So there we are, look, you can see Dinah doing there, holding it there, okay? And if you just relax your legs, open up your lower back, and then see if you can feel a connection between kidney 3 all the way up the kidney channel and then into the lower back. And then if you can feel it going all the way up your spine, up towards the head. Yeah, you got it? It's a great point, isn't it? You can really,
Fantastic.
really feel it. Okay, now once you feel that strength really strong all the way in the legs, then we can come up, slowly up, okay, back to the standing position, okay, and then tune into our spine again as we did at the beginning, and just see if it feels different in any way. Okay? Right, so that's stage 1. Okay, remember what that felt like, and that will give you an idea of whether your back needs more charging up with the kidney energy. And now let's try moving some obstruction. Okay, so to do that we need much more movement, and we need much more kind of a dynamic exercise. So let's maybe come over here. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. So look, this is you probably know this exercise. This is an exercise that we do a lot for the liver. Stand feet shoulder width apart. Feel your alignment connecting you with the heavens and with the ground. Okay?
Sorry, the camera.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. And then using your eyes, you look around, okay, and tuning into your spine. As you turn, you're opening up the liver and gallbladder meridians, and you focus the movement and the stretch on any obstruction that you have in your spine. Yeah. That's it. And you're using your eyes, which relate to the liver, to look around. And as you're doing it, tuning internally, focusing the movement on any particular areas where you feel an obstruction. Okay, very good. Then come back to the center. Okay, and now we're going to open up the liver channel by connecting like this. Yeah, this is the equivalent stretch that we did with the kidney. You can turn like this. And then stretching like this. So we're stretching up and opening the liver and gallbladder channel by doing a side stretch like this. Okay? And again, we're focusing it in on anywhere in the back that needs to be opened up and stretched. Yeah. And the other side. We'll just do it 3 times either side. So breathing in. Breathing out, stretching and opening. One more time the other side. If you have your hands like this, you'll get more of the liver channel in the arm, and if you have your hands more like this, it'll be the gallbladder channel. Okay, that's it. And then shaking, just shaking out. Shaking is always good for obstruction. And then we're going to come back to the standing position again now. And I'd just like you to reflect back on how your back felt at the beginning, and whether it liked the kidney energy exercises or the liver and gallbladder exercises the most, or whether it was half and half. And that will give you a kind of TCM experience, and it'll give you like a self-diagnosis thing. You know, how did you find it?
A bit half and half for
Was
me,
it?
to be
Yeah.
honest,
Yeah.
yes. Because I really could feel the delight in the power that came from strengthening the kidney and bladder.
Yes.
And I know that I have a long-term, more of a chronic, low-grade tendency to particularly low back issues, which are definitely kidney bladder related.
Okay.
But I was also loving the
You like that?
swinging, because I've got also a bit of obstruction below the scapula,
Right. Okay.
which I think is probably liver related.
Right.
So that felt great as well. Not
Yeah.
quite enough room. I was hitting the wood element. Manifestation in the corner. But yeah, it felt great.
Okay.
So a bit of each.
So how did you get on? That's what we'd like to know. Why don't you just type into the questions field or the messages field on the control panel and just let us know, and then Shakura can let us know whether the general feeling was of the group was more obstruction, releasing, or tonification. Okay? And also, if you've got any questions, because what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the demonstration treatment, and if you've got any questions at all, as we go along about anything about the webinar, just type them in and we'll get them fed to us, and we can have a little question and answer session at the end. Okay? So, all right, great. So let's just clean the mat. Just spread the mat out. Okay, it looks like we're going to have to do a 10-minute demo, Dinah.
That's fine.
To be able to just cover some basic application of diagnosis and treatment. So when we just demonstrate how we can use the HARA diagnosis and meridian resonances to check out what's happening in your back. Should we try that?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how your back is then.
Well, as discussed just then, my lower back is a long-term chronic issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really troubling me.
No.
But the bones are a bit wonky. There's
Okay.
almost no disc left between
Right.
L4 and 5,
Okay.
apparently.
Yeah.
And it can be a challenge for me.
Okay.
Plus, I have a bit of a tendency to overwork, overdrive, and drain the kidney and bladder energy a bit.
Yeah.
But it's not really troubling me.
All right. Okay. There we are.
What is more troubling me, and again, it's not serious, but I'm aware of
Yes.
a tendency here,
Yeah.
and usually it's here, this side,
Okay.
and it feels more muscular.
Yes. Okay.
But today, interestingly, it's more the other side.
Right. Okay.
Similar feeling.
Oh, I see. What this hard
Yeah.
hard feeling. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but if I palpate down, there's quite a lot of softness, and then about here, isn't it?
Yeah.
It starts getting
Yeah.
really quite
Just
blocked.
feels a bit obstructed.
Obstructed. Yes. Okay.
I should have also said
Yeah.
that there is a slight scoliosis.
Oh yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do a whole session, a whole video tutorial on the course on dynascoliosis, so,
Yeah.
which was interesting in itself, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I'll just show you. This is where Dinah's spine goes. If it was completely straight, it would be here where my fingers are, and actually it deviates like this. So this is more on the contracted side today. You're getting the discomfort then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when this happens,
Yes.
usually this side, is when I'm sitting too long, usually at the computer.
Right. Okay.
I tend to sit on the floor,
Right. Okay.
and so I'm like this,
So would you say it's better for movement or better for rest?
better for movement.
That's the TCM question, by the way, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Whereas this
Yeah.
is definitely better for rest.
right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Well, let's see if we can find out something about this. Now, the thing is, from a TCM point of view, we'd expect this to be related to the liver, but we will see. Let's find out. So if Diana lies down. Okay. So in the course, what we do is we show you how you can use the HARA diagnosis and also check the meridian resonances to figure out what's going on. So what I'm going to do now is put my hand right on the area, okay, and just make sure I can feel it. It's around here, isn't it? Or...
Yeah, except that it's this other side at the moment.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but that's
where it normally is.
Exactly,
yeah.
That's the usual side.
Right, okay. Okay, yeah, because it's still a bit stiff there,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so now there's two things we can do. We can do what we call a global HARA diagnosis, where we forget about the individual discomfort and we just purely work on finding out the general HARA diagnosis, okay? So usually I use two hands, but so that you can follow along with me, let's palpate together. So it's heart, gallbladder, liver, lung, heart, stomach, triple heater, lung, heart, heart protector, spleen, okay, this would be kidney, bladder, large intestine and small intestine. Okay, well if I was doing it from the TCM textbook, I expect this to be a lot more jitsu. It doesn't actually feel like jitsu at all. It's way more the heart protector. Yeah. Okay, and then we've got kidney, kyo, quite clearly, maybe large intestine and lung. Not sure, we'll find out in a minute. So now we're going to do a classic Kyo-Jitsu reaction. We hold the Jitsu and we're going to test. I'm going to test large intestine first, not really, small intestine, a little bit of a reaction. Okay, but that, we've got kidney and bladder, especially the bladder actually is the strongest reaction.
Bladder,
yeah, okay. So now, once we've got that diagnosis, we can check the resonances. And what we mean by that is to see what's going to happen when we treat these meridians with Dinah's discomfort in her back. And the way we do that is by placing, I'm going to slide my hand right underneath, I think, Dinah, right underneath. So if I tip Dinah up like this, you can see I've got my hand right here, right on this area where it's stiff, yeah? Okay, just to show you. Okay, so now let's see what happens. So if I go in here, and what I'll do first of all is create a connection between the two areas, and there's a strong connection immediately there, okay? And the same thing with the kidney, there's a connection there. Bladder even stronger, bladder stronger, yeah, okay? So that gives us an idea that, well, it tells us directly that those meridians are connected to my mother hand. Okay, so now what we can do is we can test that and see what's going to happen when we work the heart protector. Now, if I do that and I go in, I'm doing like a testing treatment. I'm going in a little bit deeper now, like a mini treatment, and it doesn't feel that comfortable in your back.
No.
It feels like it's tightening up more than anything.
Yes, it doesn't really tighten up, but it doesn't change much for me.
No, it just feels like a flat, blocked.
Yeah, it maintains its blocked feeling.
Right. Okay. So let's see what it whether it would like the kidney meridian. So let's work that. A little bit of a release, not too much.
I was going to say. That's the better. That's the better one.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting, isn't it? So from a Shiatsu point of view, we'd probably carefully sedate the heart protector if necessary, and we'd tonify the bladder. So from a TCM point of view, they'd probably explain that away by saying that underneath that obstruction there's a deficiency underneath it. Something like that.
Exactly. Underlying kidney deficiency, kidney chi deficiency, and a bit of liver stagnation.
Yes.
Manifesting in the heart protector in this case. What happens if you palpate the liver? Just out of interest.
Nothing. No, not really. No, nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing we can do. We can actually go around and we can test all the meridians and see if there's any other exciting information we can get from the HARA.
Yes.
So let's try. Okay. Now that gives a slight feeling of release, I'm feeling.
Me too.
Yeah.
And you said small intestine.
Small intestine was, I think small intestine and the heart are another kyo underneath the kidney and bladder. Liver and gallbladder, nothing. Lung.
Feels a little bit of connection.
Slight connection, but nothing too exciting. No. Stomach, no.
In the camera, you can see the sides opposite because it's a webcam.
All right.
So the HARA is sort of turned the other back to front. So just for the record.
Okay, yeah. I think that they'll see it. Okay, when they see it on the screen, they'll see it the way around there. Yeah. Okay, so that's stomach. This is triple heater.
That feels a bit interesting.
That's related to the heart protector, of course, the pair. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's changing now quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the heart protector. No, kidney and bladder. So the only extra bit of information I would say we've got there is the heart small intestine. So there may be an emotional component even underneath the heart protector, something like that. Okay. Okay, so that's two things we can do: a global heart diagnosis, connect that with the symptom area, and we can do that with basically by using the mother hand or even just a finger on a very slightly small part of the back, like if you've got herniations or any disc problems, you can literally just put a fingertip on the affected area and you can
listen.
And you can get so much information like that. It's really good. Okay, so have we got any time left to do a little bit of treatment? We have. We've got 5 minutes. So what I think I'll do is I'll just demonstrate the kind of things we can do. We'll just see what happens, shall we? So maybe what I'll do is I'll work this side. Just if I was doing the whole treatment, of course, I'd work this side first because we tend to work the good side first. What I'd be tempted to do is something like this. I'll put my hand here again. I could actually just check the heart protector meridian. Let's see. I don't know.
It's not changing much.
It's not really doing much.
It's nice, but it's not really doing much to the back.
Which is what we predicted when we felt the heart. So I think what I'd be tempted to do now is go straight into like a Masanaga technique here. We can use. I've got my mother hand right on the area of stiffness, and I'm just going to work the bladder meridian. Let's just try the kidney first. Not so good. Bladder.
Yes.
Really good.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Now I can feel it.
Yeah. Some great pseudos there. Actually,
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Really good.
Yeah. In fact, that's the best one I've found so far, just there.
And what I can feel is a kind of melting of that tightness. Even though I expected it to be more obstruction.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
So
always trust the hara.
It's the hara is your friend.
Now what I'd like to do also is just maybe work the heart meridian, if I can just get the heart meridian there. Slightly further back, isn't it? I don't know we doing this.
No. But there, good.
There.
That's good.
That's good, isn't it?
Oh, that's very nice. That has a very particular quality. Try small intestine, maybe.
Yeah, let's try small intestine, yeah.
And think hard. Yeah, it's got the same quality.
And interesting enough, it's on the small intestine channel, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
It makes me think of roses.
That's it. Because they're pink, red probably.
Yeah. Oh, that feels great.
The small intestine? Yeah. See, we picked that up and we checked the resonances. It wasn't part of the global hara diagnosis. Yeah. So what that tells us is it's not an overall issue with diagnosis so much specifically related to that one particular symptom. Yeah. And that's how we can build up a picture of what the most effective meridian is that we can work. Now, if I also I do a session, obviously I do the whole session and stuff like that, work around here. But have we got enough time? Let's just see. I've just got 1 more minute.
Yeah, 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, but I want to just do a finishing up thing. So let's put my hand underneath here. Look, I've got my hand right underneath Diana's back again. And see, look, this is nice because I can get the heart meridian here. Look, connect all the way through. Good. Does that feel good?
Yeah.
And then I can get the kidney meridian here.
Also, very different.
Different vibration, isn't it? Feeling.
It has a different relationship with the specific area of the back as well. They've got really different, I can't describe it, but very different feeling. Yeah. And that feels more strengthening.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the heart here underneath. Let's just try one of our favourite points. We'll just try heart 1. There we are. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's my roses again.
Heart 1's a great point for unbinding the chest. So any thoracic stiffness you can use, especially if heart's in the diagnosis. And that's why we spend so much time on the course. We spend 3 modules on the course just exploring all the different meridian connections with the back.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't do more, Diana. Thank you for being a wonderful model.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So now we'll just finish up we'll just see if the internet gods are with us, and we'll just see if we can set up the slides again. Let's enjoy the live video. Okay, so that's cool. I'm just going to just quickly go through the online course. Okay, this is what it looks like when you get to it. You can see that's Shakura there, by the way, working on someone's back there with her elbows. We take some time at the beginning modules palpating the tensegrity structure of the body. There's Basti, he's a new member of our team. And it's a kind of informal video seminar format, so we'd like to kind of draw you in a bit like we did with the live video on the webinar, okay? And then towards the end of the course, we start integrating everything together, the HARA diagnosis, the questioning, resonance techniques, all the TCM mass marker functions, and also we do quite a bit of work on the points. Okay, so how does it work? Well, if you enroll, if you haven't already enrolled, you have lifetime access, so you can do the course exactly in your own time. You can do it on your phone, tablet, or laptop. Most of it's video tutorials, but you sometimes use audio and text for the exercises. And we also have discussion forums where you can ask questions or just let us know how you're getting on with the material. And if you're not happy, we give you a 30-day unconditional refund, so there's no risk at all, okay? And just because you came on the webinar and we're running this like a promotion this month, we'll send you a promotional so you can get a discount on the course for attending the webinar. And yeah, we've had a very busy and very enjoyable 2 months putting the course together, so we'd be delighted if you'd like to join us. You can always, of course, join the free trial. We'll send you a link. So if you want to have a look around on the course before you join up, that'd be great too. Okay, so that's it. We've made it. It's just gone 8:30, and thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed the webinar.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice evening. Goodbye.
Bye.